Post-match with Coach Nick Regan after the 3-0 loss to Virginia Beach. Coach, obviously, back-to-back disappointing results. What were your general thoughts on the match just to start?
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing. I thought there were times where we progressed the ball up the pitch well, which ultimately, thinking back on the last game, we didn't create anywhere near enough. Today we created a lot more. So that's probably the sole positive from the game. I thought off the ball, we've kind of since the Ivy game, where just no doubt about it, was an unbelievable off the ball performance, intense and whatnot. We've just kind of let our foot off the gas there a little bit, and we've got to kind of, particularly in the next few days, really get to the core of that. I think in terms of off the ball, over the next few days, we've got one training day before we go away to Annapolis. We just got to kind of find that fire in our bellies again in terms of off the ball intensity. When I think back to the Ivy game a few weeks ago, we got an unbelievable result away from home. And, when people look at that game, I think they think to themselves, wow, like they were compact, they were disciplined, they were defending as one unit. I think we just kind of lost that a little bit over the last couple of games. That combined with not creating enough is a bit of a domino effect there. Today we created a lot more. So particularly off the ball now, we just got to make sure we just work hard and find that in ourselves again. That's the big focus ahead.
Like you said, you created a decent amount more this match, and the formation was changed up a little bit between last match and now. What was the main objective of that switch, and did you kind of see that playing out how you thought?
Yes and no. We just got to focus on outcomes. How do you force goal scoring opportunities? How do you resolve issues that are quite evident across the team, i.e., turnovers in our own half, i.e., playing players into space, throw-ins high up the pitch, corner kicks and whatnot. I think we had more corner kicks today than we've had so far. We've had more opportunities, goal-scoring opportunities, shots on target. So you have to tweak things to basically almost hard-code in those solutions. So that's what we did today. So that was particularly striking on the front end of the pitch. On the back end of the pitch, the defensive line, the sixes, and that whole connection. Again, some of the solutions we had worked well at times, but I said the same thing last week. The times where it didn't work well, these teams will punish you. And that's what happened again today. We played through ideas, and we got to kind of learn from those moments. If it didn't work the first or second time, it probably won't work the third time either. And we've learned that the hard way for the second week.
On a bit of a different note, with Abby Doves coming out of the game, picking up that injury in the first half, could you fill us in a little bit more on what exactly that injury was, and if you've talked to her, how she's feeling, and what kind of timeline you think that takes?
Yeah, I think Abby will be fine. I think she just took a really, really hard tackle, which I don't think was given as a foul. We'll have to follow up on that one. But yeah, I mean, it was just an impact injury. She'll be fine. But again, with that, you only get 3 subbing moments, and we had to make an early change there. And again, that's just equals more opportunities. And Megan came on and did a job for us as in the wing-back position. So, it's just about working through those moments. And again, when people come off, there's a lot of competition in this squad, and that's just another opportunity that someone got. So that's the silver lining for sure.
I saw you having a long talk post-match with Kayla McGee, and obviously there's a lot of frustration between the players, but talking with players like that after the match extensively and talking about what went wrong, what positives can you take away from that, from her and the group, that they've been kind of trying to work things out during this rough stretch?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of experienced players on this team. I mean, Kayla's, a very experienced D1 defender, has been at some great schools, is at a great school right now. We have a lot of soccer IQ on the team. And again, we want players to step up and be able to share opinions and ideas and whatnot. In fact, Kayla's one of the most vocal and in the locker room. She can sort of dissect the game better than anyone, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm really anyone on the team, I respect their opinion and whatnot, and Kayla's absolutely got a platform to share her ideas and her thoughts, and ultimately she's not wrong. She recognises where we need to do better and when she needs to do better, and it's that sort of experience we need to push us through. So yeah, I mean, listen, like you saw that conversation there, but there's many conversations happening day in, day out on the phone, text. You know, there's a bunch of players here that want to get it right, and ultimately, you know, it's gonna take a bit of time, but we're gonna get there.
And finally, we talked about it a little bit. You have an upcoming midweek matchup for the first time on a short rest, and you have a rematch with Annapolis. Do you think there are any advantages to playing a team like that immediately after, you know, like a couple of games ago?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, you know, we were disappointed after the Annapolis result. We started a process here of tweaking things and enhancing things all over the pitch and being focused on those outcomes that we want to see. So, you know, honestly, yeah, to play them sooner rather than later is definitely a good thing. I mean, we actually played them 3 times this year, another time here. So, yeah, we're excited to go away, get on the road, and listen, I mean, we expect a big crowd there. And listen, we've shown that we can show up away games on the road in front of big crowds and put in a performance. And, you know, we expect that this week. You know, this is a big week for us. This game today, Annapolis on Wednesday, and Ivy on Saturday. You don't get 3 bigger games than that, you know, in terms of how this league is going to play out. Here's the thing: everyone's beating each other. We're only 3 games in, so yeah, it's disappointing, but there's still so much to go, a lot of runway left. So we've got to make sure that we put this right, we get this out of our system, and we kick on.
All right. Well, absolutely. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Thank you.